Alright, now that it's instant-magically daytime, once again, after exiting out and coming back, which I always find hilarious. I've only had it spawn in one time where it was dark, and I was pretty thoroughly confused by that because it's so consistently been daytime. But anyways, we'll continue with the tour. Ohio. And we have a whole glider network set up everywhere, which takes quite a while just by itself to build that, really. It's not difficult by any means, but it's kind of good to actually keep testing it while you land, and then land, and wherever you land, set your next set of stairs a little bit before that, so that way then you land on the runway. I don't know if I'm gonna go too much into like building tips and whatever. I think there's quite a few people that do that pretty well. I feel like I could do quite a lot because I've got a lot of experience in this game now. But as you can see, this is an actual survival world and has all the attributes, stamina, hunger, all that. All the challenges, I should say, too. That's a bridge. We'll get to that here in a moment. The chicken. uh, that actually, like, just a little bit on the bridge while we're outside still. That originally was a monorail system that was built before I started building it, before the mobility mayhem or mechanical mayhem edition most recently kind of fixed a lot of all that stuff. But I have basically the two main villages I used for we used for a very long time were connected by a monorail and I wanted to set that up so bad. I did probably 20-30 different iterations of train cars, different track materials. I was like experimenting, and we were working with a whole bunch of people that were content creators at the time, which is now why I'm finally joining in. They're kind of asking me, and I'd like to actually share a lot of this stuff with everybody now. But I wish I would have recorded a lot of that because that was a whole hell of a lot of failures. And some of it worked really well for a little while, but as everybody knows now, those trains and those kinds of vehicles broke a lot in survival worlds, and it never really worked. So I turned it into a bridge, and we're gonna walk and go across the bridge here. I mean, I don't know if I need to do that, but it'll still show a lot of what I did. This is like the chill spot for the villagers. Kind of a love note for everybody. And this snowberry farm was a lot bigger, but chickens got in here for a little bit and they ate a lot of it. Haven't rebuilt any of it, which it was really weird how they actually got up here, because for the longest time they couldn't figure out how to get up the roofs that I used for ramps, which was perfect, but somehow they got up here a couple times. Anyways, so this is what we call Arizona. This is another one of the main bases. This is where we worked and did everything out of for a really long time, actually. And if you notice in the top left there, I have the character set up for heat resistance with 2 cool-headed charms right now, because we're building a new desert base off way far away from here, actually, where I found a really good spot of biomes that are together now. Basically all 4 of them are very close together, way closer than they are here. But when I built all this, that was not even a thought in my mind. Like, I literally just found the closest spot in the desert, and then I thought this little section looked really cool right here. Because, I mean, none of this was here, obviously, when we got here. And I just seen this really awesome arch, and it looked like a perfect spot to build a village. And then it ended up being really cool to make when the fishing update started, that it was right next to a lake. And we built this was my first experimental fishing dock setup, which I think it still is really cool. It's extremely functional for sure, because I made it go across all 4 corners of the lake. I get see, I don't know if all that's showing up on the video, but it's one of the negatives of using your phone. Friends and women, and I'm gonna have to like blur out their name or something, or edit that out, but friends and all the notifications will show up all the time while you're on it. And a lot of the time I hook it up to my MSI monitor through a Type-C cable, and it's not as big of an issue there, because then it just shows up a little bar on the bottom through the awesome Samsung DeX program. But anyways, this is the fishing setup, the first one we ever built here. I literally built this entirely by myself, but I say we all the time just for context, because my brother does help a lot in this, especially resource gathering, and he gives me a lot of good ideas, and he also is the prankster of the 2 of us. He destroys some of this and, hides stuff and whatever. It keeps it kind of fun sometimes, as annoying as it can be, but so this was like the start of a game I was trying to invent too for fishing, and I don't know if it caught on a little bit. It's kind of fun, like where you have to fish and throw buckets in rings, and you kind of count outside of the game, like a scoreboard of, how far away, or can you do like trick shots like off the roof and into the circle, stuff like that. It's not anything extremely extravagant or, an intricate game. It's fun. It's all for fun. That's basically a little rundown of that area, and we'll get over to the main Arizona base and go through that a little bit. This was supposed to be a farm right here for keep animals in it, like a pen, which I haven't really seen or tried yet myself, if animals actually stay in there or not now, but I built this whole thing and I had like 4 sheep and 4 chickens that was just running around in here, and then I was watching them to see they just walked straight through the walls, man, and I was so pissed, so mad, because I just wanted them. I was gonna make them a whole bunch of other cool stuff, and then like you can kind of tell what time period we built things based on what's in it. Like, we still only used plank chests. I put plank chests out here. We don't ever use those anymore. We just use large or grand chests, but we didn't even have any of that available. And this is where I built and experimented a whole ton of airships, and before they ever, you could steer them, and you had to use weight systems to steer it left and right, balancing them out, which is, especially compared to now, really difficult and honestly kind of cool. Like, it was all physics based. You'd bank left, bank right, and make it turn. Very difficult to fly those airships, though. Very, very difficult. I got pretty good at it, but you'd still hit a lot of stuff. And yeah, this is where we did a lot of stuff, though. I don't even know how much to go into it all, because this was where we stayed for months. And then we just kept adding on as we unlocked new, cooler stuff. Like, this whole shop was a very different shop before. It was all made out of wood, and my brother actually made like a 3-story log cabin skyscraper thing right there. It was really terrible, but I mean, it looked cool, and we used it as like a farm. That was where our farmlands were. As you can see now, we have much more expanded farmlands now at this whole base. And when I say terrible, like, he did a really good job, but it was like we were both learning, and compared to the build quality of what everything is now, is terrible. Like, this all looks pretty awesome. And this is still the beginning. This is still where we're still like noobs at this game. Still not very advanced. I feel like I was quite a bit, but just with all the things I built and failed and did over and over and over again here. I made so many different airships. There used to be so many different parts and pieces. There's still one way up there that I haven't gotten down yet. Basically, I had to start tearing them down because it started getting too load heavy. The game wouldn't run right. So, because there was that many of them. I think there still might be one out that way along the bridge. There's for sure one over here that's not too far away. This one was one of the ones that when the game so terribly, it just froze your vehicle wherever you left, basically. Like, and this one, it's still permanently frozen here. Like, it's like made into a part of the ground now. So I keep it here as like a museum piece, which, as you can see, it doesn't move. It used to have the whole wood foundation, trick where you drop it down, and then it had a thruster to steer, which it worked really good for that one game that I made it in, and then it just froze here, and then I was very angry again that it did that, so I just left it here and put a marker on it and made it like a historical piece of the whole property now. Which is kind of cool, because then everything, it's like it all commemorates the different phases of Lego Fortnite itself, all the different glitches and errors and innovations, progress, everything that everybody was creating, kind of all along the whole timeline of Lego Fortnite so far. I'm not usually a very talkative person, so I'm kind of just saying everything that's coming up on mine and bringing up all the memories now. This is like a little Zen lookout where you can just take in the whole scenery of the area and the property. This one's pretty cool. I still love coming out here. We're gonna just drive under the bridge so I don't have to come back 2 or 3 times to do all this.